Apparently, a film buff launches new review website, Worth It or Woke, to combat left-wing filmmakers, and it's already taking aim at Disney's Little Mermaid. I gotta say that the reason I think this is a good idea is that the current websites that do reviewing are incredibly corrupt. Rotten Tomatoes is tinkering scores in order to favor corporations. Even IMDb is doing it. And the very word review bombing is something that only targets the consumer. They never bring it up when companies are using bots in order to give 10 out of 10 to their movies or products. They sometimes even stop reviewing if they notice that the percentage isn't going in the corporation's favor. And there have been people who worked at Rotten Tomatoes in the past, which said in interviews that they are afraid to actually give honest criticism because it's implied that if you want access to companies' movies earlier, then you have to give good grades. So it is a very corrupt system. The reviews cannot be trusted. But will this website change anything? Probably not. Like, the reason Rotten Tomatoes is so popular is that it's already integrated into a lot of apps, and the media always talks about it, which puts more eyeballs on the website. So it's more difficult for an upstarting company to become popular. And then you also have to take into account that if they overstep the line, they're going to have payment processors and advertisers pull out. So it's going to be very difficult to maintain a competitor to the current establishment, if you will. I do wish them their best, though. Like, I do think that there is such a need, and apparently the film buff has launched a new movie review website to combat left-wing filmmakers and has already given Disney's remake of The Little Mermaid a thumbs down. James Caddick, who describes himself as a passionate film enthusiast with a degree in theater and philosophy, has launched Worth It or Woke as a conservative response to a film produced by studios. I love the fact that woke actually means it's bad. There are exceptions, though. I would say, like, Has Been Hotel, Hell of a Boss. There are a couple of exceptions where woke stuff can be good, but it's incredibly rare, isn't it? It comes after the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences introduced rules which require greater diversity both on screen and in the production. Yeah, so if you make a historical movie or if you make a remake of something, you have to wokeify it even if it doesn't make sense. I find this to be very disturbing. So, for example, if you want to talk about the fall of the shogun, well, you need to have diversity in that, even though it doesn't make historical sense. Usually, they will say that for historical movies they make an exception, but I have seen that that's not the case. Cleopatra is a black person on the Netflix movie. Like, they do not care about history. They do not care about if it makes sense or not. Like, they just have to add diversity. And now, diversity has to be added. Like, if you want to make a remake of the Powerpuff Girls, one of the Powerpuff Girls has to be black. Otherwise, you will not get the award from the motion picture. It's ridiculous, right? Like, this is not art anymore. This is like an assembly line. This is like forcing the AI to give the correct responses. So apparently one of such film, Carrick criticized is The Little Mermaid, which he gave a rating of 37 out of 100. You know what? That's fair. That is fair. Like, first of all, the very fact that it's a remake should take down a couple of points. And the fact that it's a live action adaptation should take more points. The fact that it's the Festival of Darkness and everything is dark and bleak, right? Like, all the colors have been removed except for this scene. Yeah, that should take away points. The acting, I heard, is really bad. And then the song from Scattlebot is the coup de grace. I have seen videos, which I can't show on YouTube because you're not allowed to show this, but like they are on Twitter, and I'm pretty sure you guys seen them because they were viral, with people beating each other up at the Little Mermaid cinema. I assume it's due to the movie. I do not know why they were beating each other up, but I assume it was due to the movie. I like to believe that. It boasts wooded and flat performance, glacial pacing, forced and unnatural dialogue, and questionable CGI. Wow, that sounds woke to me. In the About page, the site promises real movie and show reviews for real people who live in the real world. Don't rely on the woke mob to help you find what to watch. Speaking to the Rolling Stone, he said that he judges a film based on whether it's woke, the coefficient is wokeitient, is distracting, high, tolerable, or not there at all, with each movie receiving a woke, wokish, or non-woke rating. That's actually a really good thing. You know, like that. The market does need such a thing. You know, like if you're the type of person that doesn't care, that's fine. But I guarantee to you, there are tens of millions of people that care. Like, that is a business. If you do not have any outside fuckery, like other corporations messing with the website, you know, like GoDaddy starting to mess with it, or payment processors pulling up. If you don't have outside fuckery, this website is going to be incredibly popular. I'm calling it now. But I do believe there will be outside fuckery, which is why I'm skeptical to think that it's going to take off. Receiving a similarly scathing review with a slightly higher score was Peter Pan and Wendy, which started at the black actress Yara Shahidi and Tinkerbell, and introduced females as part of the Lost Boys group. Filled with successful that escaped the ire are Big George Foreman, a biopic about the former heavyweight boxing champion, which received a non-woke rating at a 92 score. He told the entertainment publication that his website was going through rapid growth, as conservative film lovers weren't being helped by review sites such as Rotten Tomatoes, which fail to filter any bias. It's not that they fail to filter bias, they promote the bias. I mean, Rotten Tomatoes is heavily in favor of the bias. The disparity between critic and audience score, and this is the problem with Rotten Tomatoes, right? Like, you are not fit for purpose if you as a critic do not know what the audience wants to see. Like, this is literally your purpose. Like, why do we have movie critics? We have them because we don't have a lot of cash, and we can only watch so many movies. So we would like if someone can tell us, hey, you know, this movie is worth watching, or this movie is not worth watching. But when the disparity is so high over and over again, and we're not talking about like a couple of points, but like miles apart, then yeah, the critics are not fit for purpose. Mirroring the wokeism that increasingly permeates the work of filmmakers, many critics artificially reward activism over quality. Consider that films will no longer be eligible for the Academy Awards if they fail to meet race, ethnic, gender, and sexual orientation quotas is why you have the problem. Academy Award-winning actor Richard Dreyfuss slammed the Oscars' new diversity and inclusion requirements earlier this month, saying that they make me vomit. I do want to point out that the reason the Oscars are doing this is because there was a campaign targeted against them called #OscarsSoWhite. And that's when they started doing the whole diversity thing, and they fired a person that was with the Oscars for a long while, and he didn't deserve to be fired. But that's how progressivism works, right? You don't have the correct skin color, then thanks bye. But what's interesting is that when people looked at how many black actors got the Oscars and how many black people are in America, it was almost a perfect fit. Like, they were very well represented. But the activists won, because this is what progressivism is about. It's about lies and deception. So it wasn't that, even if we are going to assume that just because like you have a certain percentage in the population, then it must mean that the same demographic need to have the same percentage of representation, which again, like, makes no sense. Because if that's the logic, then in my house, there's me and my wife. So if we were to attempt any competition, then it means that 50% of the prizes need to go to me and 50% needs to go to her, right? Because otherwise there's discrimination. That's not how the world works. It's literally not. But anyway, right. That was the lie that was used to be pushed. And since then, it seems that Oscars have been heavily infiltrated by activists, just like the review websites have been heavily infiltrated by activists. And the reason I'm making this video is to highlight the existence of this website, right? So hopefully it will grow. I do know that there is a market for it, because on YouTube you have The Critical Drinker, you have Mahler, you have EFAP. Like, there's a lot of very popular critics that are far more popular than the ones that work in the official media, specifically because they analyze the movies based on their merit and not their activism. Let me know what you guys think, though, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.